Good to see you guys again on my channel. Today we are going to build something cool. It will be Playwright framework with the page object model. Yeah, how we can go without page object model. So if you didn't watch the previous video, so please go and watch it. It will be somewhere here or here, wherever. You don't need to watch it from the beginning. You just go to the setup session where actually we install the framework, plugins, Chromium, IDE, etc. Before making our hands dirty with building something, let's actually discuss for those who do not know what is page object model. So here we go. Usually when people think about page object model, very first thing that come up on their mind that page object model is a design principle in Selenium, which actually help us to create and separate repositories and store web elements and links and buttons. Basically, we're saying that we created the classes, Java classes, using find by annotation, give this element find by, XPath, CSS, or one of the 8 locators, and so on and so on. So make our framework reusable. But guys, yes, it's right, from Selenium perspective. But I want to teach you to answer this question from interview perspective. Imagine how many times interviewer hears the same answer about this question. So be different. So besides giving the answer from the Selenium perspective, what actually problem your page object model design solve? And answer is simple like that. You would say, hey, my project is growing time to time, the number of test cases are growing, it's quite difficult to maintain them, we need to implement code reusability, we want to write the same classes, the same method. So page object design actually to help us to maintain code clean, increase reusability, avoid duplicates, and actually easy to maintain. In this case, you are given the not just Google first answer link wherever you receive. You show the thought process, as I like to say, and also to show the example what exactly it resolved. And then you give a technical example how you would implement it about the class, annotations, keep elements, paths to those elements or wherever it is, and so on and so on. But another thing what I would like to tell you, page object model can be discussed not only from Selenium perspective about the elements that the storing the certain pages you can find on internet. It's a first of all design question, architecture question. The same thing can be implemented from the different side of it in a Playwright, which is much more powerful in my humble opinion. So let's go to that. And type Playwright. Go there. Now choose the language. As I told you in previous session, you can choose any language you would prefer. Let's say it will be Node.js, right? TypeScript, we have decided to use it. And you want to build it. Very next step will be, after you install everything, you want to build our page object model. And let's see which pages we need to have. Okay. So now, before we start to implement our code, right, let's discuss logic a little bit. Let's assume we have a website which is called HDResca. HDResca website. And what we have on this website, it provides us movies, cartoons, whatever you want. Yeah, so if you want to do it in English, it's okay. If you want to keep it in Russian, do it in Russian. Both options are good. So okay, we have our HDResca. We want to go to movies, right? In this page, and find popular movies here. I want to make sure the Forrest Gump actually is one of the popular movies in the list. In the next page, we want to go cartoons, and on the cartoon page, we want to see that the latest edit is actually Sandman, correct? And the third page, let it be anime. And when we click anime, we want to see that currently people watching Magic Battle. So we have here 3 different pages: movies, cartoons, anime. 3 pages we will create. Our task is to keep the code separately, so we can do our validation for the movies, all validations for the cartoons, continue our journey. So this is whatever we left our code the last time, our framework, which is set up, right? And very first step, what I want to do in a page object model, is create the folder pages, right? Let's create a new folder, one click, call it pages. And let's, inside of this pages, let's create a class, movies. Right? Let's change the format, because we type in as a TypeScript. Let's rename them at .ts. As soon as we created the movies, right? We created the file in the TypeScript movies. The next step, what I want to go back to the documentation Playwright. As we can see, there is such a thing as a generating test. So what it actually does, it's actually recording the methods, everything for you. So after you pass through the installation, right, you saw different methods, you see the way how to write the first test, the method explain. You can do so, and we will do that together. But to show you a faster way, in page object model, Playwright supports the recording test. So as soon as you go to the generating test, you see this method, which allowed you to generate out the box in great way to quickly get started with testing. It will open the windows. One is a browser window where we will interact with the page, and second, it will open the test recording, whatever we can record with this such amazing framework, right? So to show you that, we will just copy that command in px code again, right? We copied that. We open the terminal. Let's assume the terminal was closed. You click new terminal here, Command V, and now remove this line where you show the URL for the Playwright, and let's go to HDRESCA, right? Let's go to HDRESCA. You just Command V, HDRESCA, where to go? Site with the movies. And by the way, it's really nice site with the free movies. You can use it. But first of all, learn Playwright. Click enter, and it will open for you 2 pages. One will be with the movies, and second window will actually record the test. Now, as you can see, I can interact with page. Now I'm clicking on the movies, and should drop down show. I'm clicking on that, and now I can see the movies which are popular. Let's assume it's our test case. I went to the popular, and as soon as we got this Forrest Gump movie, we see that our test is recorded. It found all the methods, it found the name, it's click on that, and it's get that the source in the Forrest Gump is there. Now let's assume it's a different language. You click on this corner, and if, for example, you decided to build your framework in Java, you just click Java library, and it will be translated into Java. If you wanted it Python, let it be PyTest framework. It will be here. If you want Node.js, let it be Node.js. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Now I want you to copy that. Right? Either or. And as soon as it's copied, you can close it. Right? And pass it here. Now your test is successfully recorded, as we did in previous video. Okay, the next thing I want to do, as soon as I got this, right? I want actually to run changes here. So first of all, we are not exporting the test because test will be running in this folder. This is responsible for the page. In Selenium, you used it for the keeping all the elements under this class. So the thing you want to do, you can delete this under import and say that you want to use page. What is actually the page? We can talk about it in the following session. This page is actually analog of your WebDriver, much faster, not using HTTPS protocol, and so on and so on. It can be launched not interruptedly, so right away. And then we, for example, want to do assertions in the next sessions. We will keep it here. And now we need to import it. You type the from, and it automatically actually pops up and help you where from to import. From. Oh, I don't need that. Not format, from. And then in the string, Playwright test. Now it will import it as we need it. The next step, as soon as we import it from the proper folder, from the proper library, this is analog of JUnit, right? We don't need it anymore. We need write the constructor. Why we need a constructor? We need the object where we can store all the methods which we keep here. Whatever number of methods we have, we want this constructor to store in it all the methods we write. So for that, let's create this constructor. First of all, we use export to bring it here and let it be access modifier default. And after we created that, we need a class name. Class name movies, right? Class name will be movies. We have our class, right? Class is movies. And then as soon as we have our class, inside of it we need constructor. Fun thing, in Java, for example, you need a class name, name of the object, equal new, and class name in the brackets to create an object. In TypeScript, you just type constructor. As soon as you type it and understand that it's constructor, where we need this constructor object will be available. Everywhere, right? Because we can pull it to any class we want. So to make it accessible everywhere, of course, there is the access modifier public we need. Okay, now what we need to be available? Our page, right? As analog of your WebDriver. As soon as we got that, now it's available everywhere. Why it's red? Because it's a method, we need brackets, figure brackets. Okay, our method is constructor has been created. As soon as a constructor is created, we write a method. For example, find Forrest Gump movie. Find Forrest. Run Forrest. As soon as we write this method, we need to specify something. So this is async or sync. What does it mean? If it's async, it will handle synchronization by default by itself without any help, right? So if it's a sync method, we now need to pass all this code under this method and it will be responsible for it, right? And as you can see, it's red, right? We are curious why it's actually red. Because we need to fix something. Because we saying page, but we are not saying that it's page dedicated to this object. And which keyword actually help us to connect this object with this method? Here. We just click here, view problem. Okay, we type this keyword. Now we connect in this object with the page, correct? Okay. And now we need to fix it everywhere. Quick fix, add qualifier to all unresolved. Boom. This helps us to fix this problem. And pay attention as in Java to close the class in a proper form, in a proper way. Okay, find forest method is written. It has been created. Now let's create a test. Under the test folder, create the new file and call it, how do you want to call it? Find movie. And in this class, for example, we will find all the movies we need. The purpose of this class depends on parameter. We will find all the movies. As soon as we have our test class, in this case, we need, if it's a test and we're showing that it's test, we need to import test library, the same way as we use annotation with the JUnit, or you use it in the QRunner with a run with Cucumber, right? The same annotation is showing that a test framework, test library. In TypeScript, in the Playwright, we use test. Same way. We type test. Again, we are showing from where we bring it at common, and it's actually showing us that it's a Playwright test. Okay, we successfully brought Playwright tests here. So library is here. Now we need to write our test. First test. We type the word test. In the brackets, we want to give the name of this test. Me as a user can find Forrest Gump movie under one of the popular, right? Kind of thing. Okay, the second part in test will be test 01 as an example. And now as a parameter, we want to see async, right? Because we want the synchronization handled by itself. We pass in the page object, which we successfully created, right? It will be page. Now we need to show, as we know that it's page, we need to show what we are running, right? So as at the page, we want to show which page we are talking about, right? So if you pulse on it, it will show you which parameter and which page. And it's actually showing you what kind of it's showing. Okay, so we got our test as a parameter is page, which should be run, but we need to show this test, okay, and by which page do you want? And I want to show that I need this page from the movies. I don't need new page created. I want to pull this object. And from this object, I want to call this method. Okay, in this case, we need to create the constant, the object we want to create. And let's call it find movie or find one, because we find in only one movie. And let's create an object from it. And the name will be from movies, from that class, right? New keyword, movies. Now we have created the object, and now we need to specify parameter where to store it. Okay, our object successfully created. Now, from this class movies, we created this object. We store all the methods which this class movie has. So basically, everything now stored here under find one. And how we can actually make sure that I'm right? We click find one and now click dot. And we see that find forest method is there. So if I click and hold Ctrl and click go to definition, it's actually bringing me definition of this method, which is awesome. Now, now click save the changes, Command S. And as you can see, the grid button appeared. Basically, our plugin, which we installed at the beginning, links them. Very first one option you can run by clicking this green button, or we can use plugin. And as you can see, it pulls this test, movies test. It goes to this class. And this group will be all the tests we specify. So for example, if I create new test, and call it test2, but not Forrest Gump movie. Oh, I'm sorry for my spelling, by the way. Find metrics movie, right? And here I can modify the method. I will create new object and change the settings here, right? So I will go here and I will change the code here, or I will create new method, find matrix, right? And record this test. And I can call this method as well. And I call it as well. It's one of the options which we can do. And as you can see, it in the list will be here, metrics. And if you want to find metrics, of course, you will update it here. Create the new method metrics, right? And it will run it again and again, those tests. So basically I will update this instead of Forrest Gump. I will type matrica. This I can delete, Command C. Right? Metrics. Oops, sorry for my English. So I'm just showing you how you can easily modify your test, right? Find matrix, and instead of that, I will call it metrics. The whole weight will be handled automatically. Now we can actually run it. Let's go to our methods. Let's run these methods which we wrote, both tests. Click enter. Okay, first test is running. HDRSK is opened. It goes to the movie, popular, Tom Hanks, good. Now the second test should be run. I'm not sure it's the same window or a new window will be opened. Let's see. Yeah, so fast. Okay, now we see our successful results, right? One passed, one passed, another one failed. What is going on? We're curious, right? What is happening here? Is it successful or not, right? We want to see our results. To do that, right, we want to find out what is going on. We go to our documentation and we go to the reports. As we can see, reports are here. Reports. And now if you want to see our reports, there is a command. In this case, we want to test report a line. It will be as a line. Or we want to see HTML page, right? Built-in, list reporter. I need HTML. HTML reporter, that's what I need. I want to see whatever we have. And this is a command which is called npx Playwright test reporter. Let's run that and see it with the reports. Line with an issue. Now it's showing me the error, you see, as we wanted to see negative. We look for the matrix, if it doesn't exist, it shows us error, and our reports are done. So it's automatically opened in the browser. So Forrest Gump is successful, as we can see, right? And the matrix, which was failed on purpose, we can see that it's failing. And it will show you the reason, which line of the code and what goes wrong. Because as you remember, I randomly wrote the test. That's how reports look like for the negative scenario and for the positive scenario. Now a couple things. This is customizable. You can change it. Or you can see positive, negative reports in line. It's also possible. So basically you can open your terminal go to the documentation, and for example, you want liner, a report line, click here, enter, and it gives you all in one line. Whatever failed, whatever is right, it will show you everything. So both options are working fine. Choose whatever you feel comfortable with. Now, as soon as we're done with that, let's create the new page, right? Let's call it cartoon. Now from the movies, this line can be copied, entered here. Instead of movies, we create cartoons. Page will be the same, right? Okay, now we're done with that. Now I want to record my test again. I will close all terminals with my test results, right? I go terminal. Now we will not write the negative test as I did with matrix. So we can comment out, we want everything pass, right? We keep only positive scenarios right now. This is code again, we keep in the same, right? I click enter. It will open again the one page for the UI of HDRSK, and second the code recorder. This time, let me go to cartoons. Click on that. Okay, I got it. And let me search one of the cartoons. Let's say Shrek. Then drop down appears and I click Shrek. Let's do this scenario. Okay. Let me copy the test. Let me go back here to the cartoons. Let's create method, right? Or even before creating the method, let's do the same. Let's copy paste it, delete whatever we don't need. We don't need the test. We need just create the method. You see, async find forest. We can copy that, go back to cartoons, boom, create this method, and go here, boom, and we will type it here. Method is created, it's complaining, and do you remember the reason why it was complaining, right? You remember that. The reason actually was that you should connect the object. So the same thing, we need the use keyword this, and now it will not complain, right? Instead of forest, name will be Shrek, find Shrek. You see, it's like copy pasting basically. Now whatever we are doing, we are copy pasting the same things. Okay, we found the movie Shrek. Now in our test find movies, either we create new folder, right? Either we run new test. Find movies, we either create new set with the find cartoons, or we can continue write it here, it doesn't matter. Let's, instead of matrix, we need to import it, cartoons. So import cartoons, we imported it. Now find me Shrek. Cartoon Shrek. Okay, and now we create the constant, the same, we need to create the object. Let's say find one. If you want, we can keep the same, or find two, whatever. Equal new cartoons. We're passing page as a parameter, right? we're saying await, so we want to wait this method. And now after that we code find2 call find Shrek. Okay, let's see how it will manage. Let's run it individually. Oh, okay, it's complaining something in line 30. You see, syntax error. It's really good that it's failing now. It means we did something wrong. So let's see, where did we make a mistake? Let's come back to this method and see. Unexpected token, syntax error, find movies test. Okay, something wrong here. Okay, what do we missing? Huh? This is what we're missing. In the movies, we commented the line and we forgot to add the bracket. That was our issue. Let's run again. Let's stop running our test. Let's go find test, find movies. Let's go test. What do we have here? Common S. Both are available. Yeah. Let's run both. Let's run both. I want to see my browser. And you see here we can specify, do you want to run headless mode, show browser, or don't show the browser. Those options are available. Yep, so let's go run. What again? It's complaining again? What we're missing this time? Movies. It shouldn't complain. Can browser while running test. Okay, let's run all the tests. Let's run find Shrek. Boom, boom. Okay, now let's run a different method, right? Let's go to our tests, find the movies and our Shrek. Let's rerun it. Enter. Here should be type Shrek. Hit enter. Shrek found. How to hit enter playwright, right? Hit enter playwright. Playwright keyboard. Okay, let's copy that. Go that method, field Shrek, await, enter, and we add this. So now we modified our test case, right? So we want after we fill Shrek, since that brown didn't came, I just Googled in the documentation keyboard and how we can manipulate keyboard. It's the same thing as a send case, I would say. Now let's see how it will work after my modification, right? Let's rerun the same test. Yep, it works this time, but I want to see UI. I don't know what's the result. We don't need them now. Find test, let's rerun all. Okay. The first test will be about Forrest Gump. We got it. Second test will be regarding Shrek. We got it. Yep, it passed. Now let's see, I want to see the statistics, right? Reporter HTML. Let me run it with reports. I want to see them. Okay, now find movies is running. 66th round. To open report and type in show report. I'm copying that line. Okay, report came. That's how it looks like. Now I have all my scenarios, whatever I was running before. If I click on that, it will show me where exactly I went. And it stores everything, right? So first of all, I will post it on my GitHub. I will leave the link below. Second thing, your homework is write your code, do a clone from my branch, and write the similar code for anime. Your job is to open anime and find one of my favorite animes, Naruto. Find that and check the documentation here and find the documentation how to do a screenshot and try to do it by yourself. And the next video we're trying to do it together. So thank you. Hopefully it was helpful, guys.